Okay. So, we start with uh, Frank. Frank? Frank? Oh, there is a problem reading this document. Okay. There you go. That's better. Daily quiz. Hopefully y'all have graph paper, like I've told you a bunch of times for 5 months. Because this entire second half of the semester, you gonna be graphing. Go! Remember, when you were doing your daily quiz, you need to have a reasonable, neat graph. If you're just winging it on line paper, because we are currently not motivated enough to get up and grab the graph paper above the calculator station, and I can't read it, or it is not clear enough, or it is obviously just a scribble across a kind of graph to make it look like you did it, I'm probably going to dock points. Okay. Go. Poke. Just need to remember to do that when we're done here. All right. You're good about reminding me of stuff. You said you're coming to game club tonight? Remind me when we're getting ready to leave. I need to charge those calculators. I got a bunch of kids who are going to be taking their ACT this weekend, and they're borrowing those. So, y-intercept. 2. Slope. -2/3. Now remember, if I say -2/3 out front, or -2/3, or 2/3, those are all the same fraction. We're just not used to putting the negative on the denominators. So when we see a negative out in front of it, since the plus or minus is what told me up or down, I'm going to move that up with the 2. Okay? And then, pretty straightforward, the ancient magic, right? You start at a y-intercept of +2, and from there, how many of you actually put your arrows on here to show yourself that you are going down and then to the right? Because we always want to go left to right like a book. And from here, down 2, right 3. Down 2, right. Now, I don't have enough room, but I'd say going off-road by 1 isn't terrible. Now let's say I didn't want to go off-road there, but I still wanted one more point. What can I also do? Okay, if this is down to right 3, I could also go up to left 3. Up to left 3. And it's going to give me another point on the line. Get yourself straight edge, connect the dots. So, that's it. Pretty straightforward. Did you label your slope and y-intercept correctly as you were asked to? Did you actually put your y-intercept in the correct place? Did you do the correct ratio of 2 to third? Not that. Was there a 2 to 3 ratio? You. All right. Did you have a 2 to 3 ratio? And then, did you go the right direction? Okay. Because I'm betting a good number of us had our 2 to 3 ratio, but maybe we went the wrong direction. Okay. So that's it. That's your thing. Did you tell me the slope and the y-intercept correctly? Did you have a 2 to 3 ratio? Did you start at that point? Were you headed the correct direction? Something out of 5. Score it up. Remember, you are turning those in today. You should be turning in your 2 and 3 packets today, along with your notebook or binder or whatever that has your daily quizzes in it. So, the homework. And yes, we did actually have homework this time. Inclusion, teacher stuff. There it is. Got to find the right page here. The whole thing is in one big honking document. There we go. Okay. Oh, you already got it. Okay. Yeah, I know. You were gone. Don't do it. And you do it eventually. You're not going to do the test today, though, right? We're going to get you caught up on the other stuff. All right. So we left off and said, y'all got this? And everyone was basically saying, yeah, we got this. So, just going to walk through real quick. Do you have the correct graphs? Okay, starting on page 84. Do you got the right graphs or not? Are you starting at the right place? Do you have the right ratio? Oh. I bet we were on 85 and then I told you got to do the rest. No, we got through.
You told us to do 6 through 9 last. Then you left us off to do from 11 through the stop sign for homework.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, where we said, hey, look, the word problem is just blah, 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 do what you just did. Okay.
I am right for once. Okay.
Ooh, should we have really cashed that in now before the test?
Yes.
Okay. 11 and 13. Are you in the right direction? Do they start at 3 and 1 respectively, headed downtown because they're both negatives? I don't know what Skoglund did. Did anyone ever show you the whole Mr. Slope guy thing?
No. I tried my hardest to get that entire class. I honestly, I agree with you 100%.
It's a big, angry, like totem concrete dude going, hmm. Okay. But the idea is you have slope can be positive, negative, undefined, or zero. I should not be talking over 4 different people. I'm just asking if you've seen it. Okay, usually it gets introduced middle school, pre-algebra, algebra half. It's just a quick moniker to help you remember. Positive slope always goes up the hill. Negative slope goes down the hill. Zero slope is cross country. Undefined, you fall off the cliff and splat. Okay. So, what about 12 and 14? We okay? Remember, it is not enough to just have the answers. Okay, for 5 months now, more, every time we go through this and we see the 4, 5, 6 kids who are just copying it down, like, you think we don't notice that? Okay. Backside, 2 more regular graphs. Did we figure out 16? 16 was tough. Because you expect it to have a bunch of numbers with it. You expect it to be more complicated. Did y'all see that that's a negative 1 over 1x plus 0? Okay. There's a bunch of hidden information with it that we don't write because it's not necessary. They just assume that you know that. Okay. And then the words were just blah, 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 do the same thing you did. All right. Says it's $3 for a cone of ice cream, 25 cents for every additional topping. Boy, is this an old book. Wouldn't that be more like $6 for the ice cream and then another $2 or $3 per topping? Okay, inflation, yo. 18. 18's tough because how do you go down 18 over 1 when the scale is going by hundreds and fives? Okay, you can't just wing it and say, well, I think it goes that way. Y'all remember Jesus fish? Okay. If I currently have a slope of negative 18 over 1, this is the y, this is the x. Neither of those lines up with what I got over here. But what if I instead said, what if I'm not going over 1? What if I'm going over 5? How much would my y's change? Multiply the two that line up, divide by the one that doesn't. What is negative 18 by 5?
Negative 90.
So what I can do is take this negative 18 and turn it into negative 90 over 5, and that tells me down 90, right 5. A slope is a rate. If I say that the cookies over at Burger King are 2 for $1, what if I can't only buy 2 cookies? What if I have to buy for everyone in the car? And I've got 8 people crammed in the car. I have to change my rate. The rate is the same, 2 for $1. But I have to scale that up to 8 cookies for $4. I have to scale my rate of down 18 over 1 into down 90 over 5 to say from 400 go down 90 and over 5. Go down 90 and over 5. Go down 90, so it's almost a full box. Almost a full box. And then connect the dots. Now we're going to go through more like that.
So it goes from 40 to 400 to 300?
To 310. And then to 220. And then to 130. You're subtracting 90 every time. Okay? So, another one I could do is instead of going down 90, right 5, I could have also said negative 18 over 1 is, well, if the y-axis is going by hundreds, what if I say go down 100? How far over do I go? Grab a calculator. Negative 100 divided by negative 18. 5.5. Okay. No. Is it?
Negative 100 divided by negative 18.
50 over 9 or 5.5 repeat.
Oh, 5 and 5/9. Okay. Yeah. So I could also, instead of this, go down 100 over 5 and a little bit. Down 100 over 5 and a little bit. Down 100 over 5 and a little bit. Okay. So that negative 18, you can't graph it the way that they gave it to you. You have to change it. So, who was asking?
I kind of solved it a different way. I did 18 and then I took that times a bunch of different numbers to find out what my second point would be directly. And I took it 18 times 25 and that's 450. So I went down 450 and then I went over the 25.
Bud, you did the same thing. Negative 18 over 1, you said 450 and 25?
Times 25.
Uh-huh. So if I take this times 25 to get negative 450, then take this times 25, you just said, I'm going to do a thing to make up a number. Once I make up that number, I can Jesus fish and find 25. Or have 25 Jesus fish, find negative 450. You did the same. This is called proportional reasoning. I wrote a whole paper on it when I was in college. Proportional reasoning means I understand that these two have a relationship, and I can expand that relationship in 1,000 different ways. That's one of them. Okay? Very nice. I like it. Okay. So I figured that one we needed some help with. Next up, vocabulary. Y'all just go back to that first page. You better know your vocabulary. The thinking question is usually the one that gets us. In the thinking question, they say, you got a point on a line other than the y-intercept, but you have the slope. Can you still make the equation? Well, if we have the y-intercept, don't we like go down 2, right 3, down 2, right 3 again? We do that a bunch of times. That means I can do that from any point I have. So as long as you have a point, any point, you're able to use the slope to finish it off.
But does it actually have to be, like for the reflection, does it have to be the same words?
No.
Or can it be our own words?
Something along the lines of, as long as you have a point, the slope gets you the rest of them.
Yeah.
Okay? So, all right.
The button.
No, we record the review. Dun, 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 dun.
How many questions are on?
6, same as always.
Not bad. How far back does this quiz go?
The beginning of the semester, dude. The last 5 days.
Yeah, I can tell them to pass this. Just meetings.
Okay. So out of all of this, Kai, the only question that you did not get was number 6. That was the stuff that we did on Tuesday. So you can still follow with us for the review. Okay. Everyone got one, right? Okay. Now, if you all want one. Okay. Shoop. Shoop. Then. Oak. Really? Why are you crapping out here? Insufficient data for an image. Man, if Adobe crapped out on me, I'd be in the hurt. All right, let's try that again. Okay. So you notice a little bit of a change from last semester is because we were originally I had all 6 problems on one side for the review, 6 problems on the back side for the quiz, and there's a lot of us who just didn't like that whole flipping back and forth business. We get that image transfer problem with our working memory. So we started going to, here's a one for the review, here's one for the quiz. Well, if we're already taking 2 pieces of paper, how about we spread it out? This way, some of you that write gigantic,
Like me.
you know who you are, where it looks like someone just murdered a pencil, okay? So now you've got more than enough room to write for every problem. Also got the lines across there to break it up to help with that visual crossover. So round 1, we started with 5-6, or the second half of 5-6, I should say, which was, can you do inequalities that get bigger and uglier, and can you do them with words? So, when we were doing these, the very first thing that we needed to look for, the word is, am, was, were, are. I need you to write that next to this. Tell yourself the magical words to help yourself get through the quiz. The first thing I do is look for is. If is ever attached to other words like is less than, that tells me my inequality. Is less than. Does that mean Pac-Man is eating right or Pac-Man is eating left if I say is less than?
Right.
Eating to the right. Pac-Man eats that way. Is less than.
That's less.
Yeah, is less than.
Oh, you're talking about the mouse.
All right.
So you're talking about that.
So, then, -3 times a number increased by 7.
Yes.
Before I do anything else, do you see any commas in there?
No.
So when I say -3 times, -3 times means I have -3 times stuff. You see how there's no comma after a number? We talked about this. There's not a comma after a number to say that it's just X and done. That's wrong.
X plus.
Because it kept going. Because it kept going, the thing that I will use is a number increased by 7. And then I run into the is, and that tells me now I'm done. You use X, you can use whatever. I usually use N when I hear a number. No, just N number. N. Yeah. Is less than -11. Well, that's just -11. Okay? Hmm?
The stuff that I missed, like this. That's the
Oh, good. So, stage 1. I'm going to disturb it. Getting -3n minus 21 is less than -11. Then along comes Paxton from the peanut gallery and says, "Get the line!" Okay. So I disturb it. I got my line. Can I combine anything on the left or the right?
plus 21.
Okay, since I can't combine anything, I'll start moving things. And when I move things, I ask the question, who's lonely? So yes, we will add 21 to that side. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think we need new, we might need new microphones. This battery ain't lasting all day like it's supposed to. Uh-oh. All right, well, we'll just go until it says that it's done. What?
In the book, does it say the answer is 6?
Oh. Let's find out.
I went a different way and I got 6.
It is not 6. Okay. See, what happened, Landon, is you went ahead without following along,
Well, no, I just read it wrong.
and you completely missed the whole discussion about parentheses because there wasn't a comma. So you had a different problem.
But it somehow worked with the full number.
Because it was wrong. Like, you literally had the wrong inequality.
That's the command as a fraction.
Okay? When I divide by -3, I have to remember that I divided by a negative So we have n flippity flop negative 10 thirds. And the graph for it is nice and easy. You just say negative 10 thirds, open circle, left.
I've used it for 2 years now, so the little cheapo lithium battery in it isn't really very good. What do you think there? All right. Now it's using the microphone off of that one. Because I know the one on the laptop is trash. So maybe that one will pick it up a little bit better. Actually, it'd be great if it did, because then I wouldn't have to charge that thing up all the time. Well, some notes.
As something is overcharged, the battery can wear out. It's having to semi something.
But it costs $25, and I've been using it for 2 years straight.
Yeah.
For like 6 hours a day. It's just not holding a charge very long anymore.
Yeah.
Couple of notes to write to yourself. Is blank then is my inequality. That's your inequality, that's your Pac-Man. All of the old stuff that we did with words still matter. If I say then, it means put it at the end. And that's why we have to know that is being smashed onto the words less than, it turns it into an inequality instead of subtract this. And that can be confusing for a lot of folks. If you don't have the is, or am, was, were, are, whatever the linking verb is, if you don't have that smashed up against the words, it means add or subtract this. If it's smashed up against the words, it means this is the inequality. Okay? Another one is, when I say negative 3 times a number increased by 7, there was never a breath there. There was never a comma to say negative 3 times a number increased by 7. If there's a comma, it cuts it off and says it's only 3 times n. If you're not paying attention for that, or if you're blowing ahead and ignoring all of this, then you're going to miss that. Okay? Writing the compound inequalities. Y'all? And or. If you ever see something that is already drawn for you, it's one of these two things. If it's an and, we're going to use this formula. We talked about it before. The small number is less than x is less than the big one. We're going to make an and sandwich out of it. So in this case, what's my small number? -3. Okay, right in between them. Now when I say less than x, will it stay less than, or do I turn it to less than or equal to?
Less than or equal to.
Why do I know that?
Because they're filled in.
Okay. And then less than or equal to 2. There you go. The next one, they're going Splitsville. So you write the two different ones and you just shove the word or in there. Here, x is less than negative 4. Here, x is greater than or equal to 2. Remember, the little arrow will tell me which way it's shaded. So I can use which way it's shaded to make the arrow. And I just shove the word or in between. Okay? And or. Remember, and is a little more special. It's got its own special format. With and, you can't just say the two separate things and put the word and between them. It's kind of like if I say fingers up. I just said fingers up. I just, right? I'm talking to a room full of teenagers. Should I maybe specify thumbs up? Right? Because then you got everyone in the room like, woohoo! Gotcha. Okay. If we have any time at the end of class, tell you where that came from.
Wait, the Chinese
No.
Chinese building is pink.
No. Next one.
Oh, if we have time at the end of class, can we play Simon Says or
Okay. The next one is an or inequality. Can you solve an or inequality? Just, do you remember how?
No.
Oh boy.
How many did you teach us?
When I see an or inequality, solve them separately, sketch the result, and then go and find the answer. So, the one on the left. Where do I start? Can I combine anything? Distribute stuff?
Oh, you put the
Play the
one
Who's
down.
Lonely game.
Put the one down.
Okay. Now this one is its own problem. Okay. This is its own problem. This is its own problem. Alright? You have to solve two separate problems over here. Subtract 3. Getting 3b is less than or equal to negative 4. Okay. Subtract 2. Get 5b greater than or equal to 10. Divide by 3, divide by 5. Ew.
Nope, negative 4 with 3.
Remember, we like our fractions here, negative 4/3. That's it. I wish y'all would get more accustomed to fractions because it's lazy math. You just leave it. Negative 4/3, you're done. I mean, if you can simplify it, do that.
Also did the calculations.
Hey, your calculator did the calculation.
Same thing.
Okay, and we get d is greater than or equal to 2. So now, sketch your two things. The first one says negative 4/3 d is less than or equal to. So close circle, left. The next one says close right. from 2. And does everyone have that big cheater page with all of our different ways that the inequalities look? Remember, there was the ands and ors. We had 4 of each, showed you which way they're going, what it means. All right, this is an or problem, and they're going opposite directions with a gap in the middle. What's the answer? Opposite gap means I just shove the word or in between them and it's done. Okay, that is my answer. X is less than or equal to negative 4/3, or X is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, we've gone through that chart a few times now. Okay. Write a note next to this. Tell yourself, or solve them separately. Sketch answer, look at page number 18 or whatever it was. Okay? Tell yourself how to do it. So. Don't be disappearing for 20 minutes. Okay, on the back side, we have an and. But this and looks a little bit different than we're used to.
Yeah.
Why? There is a fraction. We've dealt with fractions before.
Because there's a negative 3 on the other.
There's a 3 on the other side.
Yeah.
Wait,
The negative
go back to number 2. Look at how the and inequalities are supposed to look. What's wrong with this?
The 3's are in the wrong place.
The whole thing is pancake flipped.
Yeah.
That's not how they're supposed to look. I've got to take the whole thing. Whomp. I need negative 3 on this side, 3 on that side. Pac-Man eating to the right with the k plus 11 over 4 in the middle. Who had the or equal to? The negative 3. The same Pac-Man stays with the same number.
The negative 3 is greater than or equal to.
That's what I just asked. Brownie point! Kevin back here trying to go Super Saiyan on that.
Wait, is that actually a brownie point?
No.
No.
I had just said it.
I was
Okay.
the second too late.
Next up, I want to get that k in the middle by itself. I got to get rid of the 4 and the 11.
Divide by 4.
I heard multiply by 4 and divide.
Multiply.
They are dividing, so we will multiply. So if I multiply this by 4, this by 4, this by 4, maybe you have a note to yourself. Due to all 3 spaces. That's a C. Tell yourself that you have to do it in all 3 spots. And then, this is now negative 12, less than or equal to, k plus 11, less than 12. K is still not by itself. Where? All 3 parts. Subtract 11, subtract 11, subtract 11. Wow. Or, if Paxton would prefer. Yeah. I bet by this point, Paxton's not the only one who needs that there, right? Does it just make life easier?
It also depends on how it is.
Okay. cancel out, I have just K. You owe me $12, I'm dumb enough to let you borrow another 11.
23.
You owe me 23. I have $12, I let you borrow 11. Wait, I'm down to 1. See how it's still written as an and sandwich?
Yeah.
So, with action number 2, what does an and sandwich graph look like? In between, okay? So I'm going to have negative 23 and 1. Do I fill either of those in?
Yes, you, well, the negative 23.
Or equal to means I fill this one in. Go. Number 3 on your quiz is an or problem. Number 4 on your quiz is a and problem written as an and sandwich. This one, I had to flip it all at the beginning because it looks goofy. You don't flip it if it doesn't look goofy. And I honestly forgot what number 4 looks like on your quiz. So, if it's backwards like this, flip it. If it's not, don't. Alright. From Tuesday, identify the slope and the y-intercept, then graph. So, tell me, you, the y-intercept, and for this part, make sure when you say the slope, how do I write 2 as a fraction?
2 over 1.
If I'm going to use that to make my graph, what could I put next to it right now? Positive says up and always to the right. If I need to, I can also do what? Instead of up and right.
Do the opposite.
Down and left. That's why I like having that on both sides, is it tells me which way I go. So my y-intercept of negative 4 tells me start down here at negative 4.
On the test, do we have to write the y-intercept and slope? Or can we just graph it? Oh, okay.
And from that point up to right 1, and do a bunch of them. As many as you can fit on the graph. Up to right 1. Up to right 1. Up to right 1. Up to right 1. Connect the dots, use a straight edge. Make sure it goes all the way off the graph. Use your arrows. All that kind of stuff. Okay? And then, a blast from the past. Can you solve equations that got a bunch of crap in them?
No.
Bunch of stuff. Step 1. How about before step 1 we do step 0? Else Paxton's gonna yell at us. Okay? Now step 1. Start 2x minus 2. Disturber. Yo, don't overthink this. Over 1, over 1. Use fractions. In a fraction, numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. Okay. Now, I can start moving things around right now. I just use the calculator to do the heavy lifting for me. There was a way that we could just not deal with fractions right now.
That wouldn't kind of nothing.
Everything by 3. Then I don't have to deal with fractions. So 3 times 2x. 3 times negative 2. 3 times something thirds is that something. 3 times something thirds is that something. Okay, no more fractions. We're good. We're good. Well, now we got to start solving it, right? Now you choose. Right now I've got a variable and constant on both sides. You have to choose which direction you want things to go. You want your, what? You want 6x to get out of there? Okay. Wade Neve wants to do it. Doesn't have to be the way you're going to do it. See, when I zero that out, I see there's still a negative with my 6. 25x's minus 6x's. No. Oh. 19x's. Then, who's lonely? Subtract 50 over. Zero it out. I see I've got a 19x left. You owe me $6. I'm really dumb and let you borrow 50.
56.
You owe me $56. Divide by 19. And does it come out nice? No. Can I reduce it? Is there a number that goes into 56 and 19?
3.
No clue.
3 goes into 18, not 19.
1.
And 1 won't change it, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. That's my answer. Negative 56, 19. It just stays ugly. Devices on the counter. Hold a favor. You got empty your bladder, do it quick.